Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and soon I will not have to walk in on my tippy toes to show you my shirt. Anyway, we're here to look at the America's Greatest Animals, which is, there's a lot to choose from. But what they base their decisions upon, by the way, this is a Nat Geo thing. It's from 2012. It's an hour and a half long, so it's a little bit longer than your normal nature documentary. Um, yeah, National Geographic. Uh, this they base their decisions on greatness, on power, features of the animal, danger to humans, and charisma. So those four aspects. They've already apparently may have done this with African animals as well, which include things like lions and elephants and buffalo. Like they have their own beasts, and I think cheetahs and other things like that. So cats and dogs and elephants. Oh my! So yeah, there's lions and tigers and bears. This one is all about the American animals, obviously, and we're not talking. We're not going to be looking at chihuahuas or kitty cats or your favorite parrot. These are wild animals. These are pretty much uh, it all the deepest parts of our most rural. I can't say rural. It's the wildest of animals, and they had, in fact, there's so many they had to break them down into different regions, sort of like yesterday's basketball regions, or regions in sports and things like that. So there's the plains, there's the Arctic, there's the mountains, there's, I think that's it. I'm not sure, but they had to break them down into different things, and they had more than five. They didn't. This isn't like a simple thing where they just went, "Hey, here's five animals, boom." They gave us maybe probably more than a dozen different types of animals, including birds, including uh, all types of bears and cats and wolves and things like that, and even one of these guys, uh, rams, horned animals, and and antlered animals. So put them all together. They basically do a review of what they're like, how they interact, how they breed, how they fight, how they kill, how they feed, and it's fairly brutal. So if you're a little bit squeamish about blood, um, there's a considerable amount of this. You get to see some animals take down some much smaller, weaker animals, as it works in the animal kingdom. So if you're squeamish about that, this may not be for you. The weird thing is it mixes a lot of beautiful nature footage, just photography, filming, just sweeping over the land, close-ups of these animals in action, mixing that with people's handy cam footage, or like, you know, this is 2012, so the idea of shooting on your phone, it may not be as common back then, in the olden days. Uh, but certainly people with digital cameras and regular film cameras over the decades have contributed footage to this, and or it was just stolen from them. I have no idea. And you can see these people like sitting in their car going, "Holy crap! A mountain lion has just killed a deer in front of us in the middle of the road, and we're just going to film it until it drags it away." And other stuff like that. So yeah, there's plenty of people with footage coming in contact with bears. Black bears especially love just rooting around uh, human habitations. Grizzly bears, not so much, but if you do happen to have a grizzly bear in your neighborhood, just run. Lock everything you've got if you can, but otherwise, run, because they scare the black bears. Grizzlies aren't as, they don't hit civilization as much as the black bears, but still, yeah, you got to watch out for either one of them. Black bears, I've learned that they're a bit more, let's say, curious and friendly. They're just, and sometimes they might just back down if you face off with them, but I still wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, so one of the things that bothered me about this is that they did all their measurements in weight and length and size in metric, which is just not the American way. We have our imperial measurements in inches and pounds and tons. You're using kilograms and kilometers and but whatever, there's so meters, I should say, because I don't. Hopefully, there's no animals in America that are kilometers long, kilometers long. So, but yeah, there's lots of big animals. So anyway, it was like, oh, that one's 2.5 meters high. I don't know what that is offhand. I didn't want to keep calculating it on the fly as I'm watching it. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I got the. Yeah, I'm trying to go through my notes. I did take notes in this one because when I don't have an IMDb to go to where it's like, hey, you know, here's all the actors and here's all the connections to other things. You got to take notes when it comes to like all the details they throw at you. So there's a lot of different animals featured here: American eagle, bears, mountain lions, uh, all sorts of things. And like I said, they measure them up according to power, features, danger, and charisma. And some of them you score pretty high, and then other ones knock them out of contention. And what they come up with is a pretty formidable stack of really powerful animals, crazy, like majestic creatures that so. And the number one guy, maybe you'd expect it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but maybe you'd expect it, maybe you wouldn't. But this one is used to a harsh environment and pretty much can take on anything, even things that are bigger than it. Yeah, so I won't spoil it if you decide to watch this. Again, it's a nature documentary that has its share of experts. That there's some nature experts, but they cut into it with like these paneled windows where it's like a talking head and there's a scene over here, and it was treating it like it was, I don't know, like one of those dorky things they would have on E Entertainment Network, or like with celebrities talking about what's going on in this video, or I expected Hal Sparks or Janine Garofalo or some sort of parade of comedians just to come in and start making comments about what was happening on the screen and make jokes. And there are plenty of jokes from these experts. They seem to have. I think somebody wrote some of these things for them to go, oh, this is a funny line, or they're just funny people, or maybe not very funny, and their delivery was just wrong. So I don't know, but yeah, they get a chuckle out of. There was surprisingly a little bit more profanity, not really profanity, but for the sensitive types, they mention ass and how rams like to kick each other in the balls and stuff like that. So some of you sensitive types might not like that discussion with the kids. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. But it's not anything scary. Probably the creepiest or the most unsettling thing is just animals just tearing into each other and just blood coating the fur. So that might be upsetting to some little ones, maybe, or they might think it's really freaking cool, depending on whether your kid's a sociopath or not. So yeah, it's all in how you raise them. But yeah, this is a very interesting documentary. It's treated much more lighthearted, and they sort of gamify the thing in creating commentary and these categories and how they grade them. It comes across. It's done differently than your standard, very serious, very artistic and type of documentary showing the struggles of the North American wolf, or those kind of things. So it's a bit more lighthearted, even though it looks at some very jarring interpretations of these animals. So yeah, it depends on what you're into, but if you like more animal documentaries and you want to sort of kind of guess which ones might be the best, and you can grade them yourself as you go along to determine which ones you think might take the top 5 spots. That's what they do. They pick the top 5 out of all the animals they show you, and you can probably guess along the way as they show you each animal. You're like, oh, that one might be the number 1, or he might be in the top 5, or no, that one's not going to make the top 5. It's kind of interesting. So the way they do it. I haven't seen them do a documentary like this anywhere else on Disney Plus. So I don't know, it might be something different for you. Either way, it's a documentary full of facts and information and raw animal power. All right, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
42.
Wait, 24 to 42? Really? Come on. Well, we're getting a movie, and we don't get um, the short one. Well, short one. There's no short ones in this universe. Um, but we don't get the. It's sort of like a two-parter. We're getting the second one, not the first one. I'm almost tempted to do both back to back and just knock them off, but no, that's not how we do it here. I make the rules, but I'm going to hold myself to this rule. We have Avengers Endgame. We're going to see the final battle with Thanos. All right, and this one's going to be 3 hours. Woo! Here we go. It's or at least almost 3 hours, or is it more? I can't remember. It's been a while. But Avengers Endgame on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Whew, more Marvel stuff. See you then.